Hello everyone, my name is Triton and I'm here today bringing you a game review. I got this game from Patreon, and if you would like to find out more about the Cats Play Go Patreon page, we will have a link in the description below the video. Yeah, this game was given to us by Eric, who is white, and it is a 16Q versus a 14Q. So it should be an interesting game, and I do have a particular thing I want to focus on, which you'll see here very soon, actually, within the first 3 moves. And the variation here shows some conflicting ideas in what the moves are trying to accomplish. This move is telling me that you don't want black to try to make a specific opening position. In this case, I would assume the Chinese, because if white goes back to d16 here, which is how I would suggest most people to play to keep the game simpler, because approaching right away is a more aggressive way to play. But if you do this, then black may try to do the Chinese opening. And if you don't want to deal with it, or you don't know how to deal with it, sometimes it's good to do that slightly aggressive play of approaching right away. But remember, what I'm saying here is that this move has a goal of trying to stop black from getting a specific opening position. So when black plays this diagonal move, white has already accomplished his goal of breaking up the potential Chinese opening here. So it can be a good idea to play away now, especially since the open corners are very big. And that is something that you should be thinking about if you are playing this type of move in the opening. Well, white decides to follow it up by playing this knight's move. And again, we're brought to the position of what's this new move accomplishing? And this new move is saying that white wants to move to the right side of the board. And since that's white's goal, it's often good for black to try to prevent that goal. But black ended up playing this move. So now white sort of has 2 options. White has already accomplished the goal of preventing a specific opening pattern, has moved a little bit towards the right side of the board, so white can follow up by just playing on the right side directly, or trying to close it off in this way and getting shape for the stones, or white can tanuki. Except white plays this move, which doesn't make sense for all that stuff that I've talked about already. Now, it could be entirely possible that white was trying to just make a strong group here, in which case this would be still a slightly bad move, but it's a more understandable move. And in that case, it's good. It makes the move make sense. It's preventing black from cutting through, but the problem then becomes that that maybe the way white's actually thinking about this position is incorrect. And hopefully, how I've described it here will let Eric know that if he was thinking of something different, then his thought process might have been wrong. Or if he was thinking the same way I was thinking, he should know now that this is a move that's not really accomplishing that goal. So black takes advantage of white's slow move to play in the upper left. White takes the 3-3, which is fine. They play a Joseki. And white gets the outside, black gets the corner, and white decides to keep the game very simple and just make a base for the stones. And that, I think, is perfectly fine. It might be better to approach the top left right now, because this Tanuki is probably going to be fine, but it's also good to take care of your weak groups, so I think this is acceptable. So black gets the corner and white pushes through here. And here's another point where the goal of the move is not met. So pushing through here is saying that when black blocks, white's going to cut. Now, it could be possible that white just wants the outside, which is what white tries to get here. And I did read this move out, and this move does work to kill the corner. A more simple move could be this one. It's much easier to read. But this move does kill the corner if black tanukis. And what I mean by that is if black captures this stone, then I think the Atari first. Then it's hard for black to live here after white gets this t2 move. And it looks like white will have enough liberties. But that's a kind of a hard thing to read out, and that's actually, I think that's actually a Sumego or Go problem that I've found before, so it's kind of funny. But of course, if black just connects this way, then black can probably live in the corner still. But white gets the outside here, which is not too bad for white. It's sort of like a Sente, it's sort of like white was trying to make a Sente exchange here of trying to get black to respond in some way like this, and then white can take the side here, because this is what this move is trying to accomplish. It's trying to take this right side of the board. But black decided to prevent white from getting that directly. But then again, white is not following up on the threat of taking the side of the board, which would be like a pincer here. You're still taking the side of the board, and black has to manage something in the corner. But this is not a bad idea, because when black plays here, you could then follow up on this threat, which is the other purpose of your S6 move here. But I don't believe you ever really followed up on the threat here. It could be that you couldn't read it out. Even I had to look at it for a second to read it out, truthfully. But if you weren't sure of the goal of your move and you weren't really getting anything from it, then it's often not good to play that move. Because now you sort of pincer here, but it's a bit late, because black can just take the corner here, you extend along the top, black gets the side. The opening's probably still going to be okay, but black's moves, even though black's a bit thin here, like this should probably still be good for white, so this is not bad. So your idea here is not terrible, actually. It's good, but I would never expect your opponent to play exactly what you want him to play. And so like black takes the top here and just leaves these stones to be attacked. And then you strengthen yourself, which it's hard to understand why, since you don't really have to. Then like this sort of exchange is a good exchange for black. So again, like the purpose of this move is to strengthen your top group, but your top group is already strong, so it doesn't seem like your moves are working together again. Like it went from something that looked a bit weird to something that could be potentially good, and then you played another move that is accomplishing a goal that has already been accomplished. And then the next move you did here was sort of this jump out, which is, since you're already strong, this has to be to attack these two stones. But again, as I said, they can settle pretty easily with this slide here. So in this case, it would be good to prevent the move that helps them settle and then jump. And this would be okay, and you could just move on to the left side of the board, or try to reduce in some way, reduce black's potential. Black's just ignoring your moves because he thinks he can live on this side of the board, and it's possible that he can. Like, it looks pretty easy, but then you jump in here, and as I said, you're not this is again not following up with your plan that like the 014 move was doing, which is attacking these two stones. But this is a really big side of the board, so it's understandable why you'd want to invade. But if we look at it again from the viewpoint of attacking, let's say it goes like this. So you just like sort of surround, you get all this influence, and black just goes to live somehow. Now that you have this influence and this strength, maybe you can try to do something a bit more severe. Try to do just any sort of extra thing to reduce the potential that black is getting here, because you have somewhere to run to, which is this influence. But without those moves on the board, like this seems a little bit difficult, especially like you saw that I was trying to show you moves on the top side of the board because you had the influence near the top. And in this case, you don't really have anywhere to run. So it's like if you had this move, let's just say this is alive now, then coming in here is much more powerful because you have something that you can directly run towards. But you're also like right next to a very strong position here. Now black is also playing these types of bad moves. Like the opening was potentially better for black because of the couple of small moves in the top right. But this middle game fighting position here is definitely not as good for black. Because, you know, black's pushing you from his stronger side. Whereas if black just jumps, or not 2 space, but 1 space jump, lets you connect up. Like let's say you just connect up to your group now. He made so many points here, and it's going to be very difficult for you to invade that area. Like let's say black just closes it here. It's going to be very difficult for you to invade this area, and you can kind of tell that this wasn't the best way to invade because it's not threatening anything. Like it's just taking away the left side points. It's not attacking this corner group because the corner group is alive. You know, it seems difficult to use these stones. But black is doing the thing that I'm saying not to do, which is playing moves that are accomplishing a goal that has already been accomplished. And so you split, which is good. Jump here is a little bit questionable. Like it's usually better to extend your liberties, but jumps don't extend your liberties because of the wedge here that black could potentially do, because that will create cutting points on both sides. But again, black's saying that he wants to connect up his group because he's weak. That's what this move is telling me. So you splitting is really good. This is really good for white. You get to fix your shape here. Haunting on the head of 2 stones. That's really good shape. And then you're just connecting up to your groups. So this is all actually really good. It was a very successful invasion. Yeah, you definitely got more than what was to be expected out of this situation. Black's cutting to attack, and you protect on the bottom here. Another move where you're doing something that you don't have to do, like you already have the strength here, and you don't need to worry about it. It's better to strengthen the weaker side, because even if black does try to do something here, you have an eye already, and black is probably not going to be able to get rid of your second eye no matter what, because black is already weak. But black just defended here, which allowed you to still come out and attack him. So this is not bad for you. Black should have tried to come out in some way, extending here to get his liberties stronger, or being more active, you know, just playing in a more active way. But you're still able to do stuff here, and then you're preventing black from connecting up to his other group, which is good. But it was sort of gote, so black is able to try to strengthen his group by going this direction. But this is actually good for you because it forces you to run towards his points. And so you get to reduce all of his points. So this cut was a bad move by black, and it looked like you were taking advantage of it with this leaning here to prevent him from connecting. And then he just pushes you into his territory. So that was good. But black just does this one to just make eyes. And I know I keep saying this, but I want to say it as many times as possible so you understand how many times you do it. Another move that is accomplishing a goal that has already been accomplished. This is sort of strengthening your stones, but your stones are already alive on the bottom, and you don't need to worry about these stones getting cut off or anything, because the purpose of these stones here was to prevent black from connecting his groups, but black has invested a move to make his group alive. Well, to try to make his group alive. So it'd be better spent to just continue to surround your opponent or to jump into his area. If you continue to surround, then black strengthens himself, and then you can try to reduce this area on a bigger scale, or just make your group stronger. Make sure you're not dying. And you're naturally sort of reducing black's potential, which is really good for you here. So this fight, this middle game fighting here was actually really well done on your part. Even after this, where black jumps up here, a little bit thin shape, you're still like sort of reducing him and attacking at the same time. So you still had a good position here, I think. Especially after black Tanuki's here. Because if you surround his group, let's say he just lives directly. You surrounded his group, he lives directly. Now you can try to build up this territory. You can try to attack him a little bit with like peeps and trying to do something with his shape. Or what's probably a little bit better here is to just invade. Like, you've strengthened your group. Your group is going to be more okay now. And then you can prevent black from getting all these points. Because if black gets all of this, you're probably losing for sure. And then we get to sort of the last part of the game to look at, and that's this sort of move here. This move tells me that you want to kill black. That's what this move is trying to accomplish. If you're attacking black, then something like this is better because you're trying to surround. So black responds, and then you try to attach and surround. I guess what you're trying to do here is make some more strength before you go into the left side, which is not necessarily a bad idea. And so now you've made this extra strength. But it's better to try to connect up your groups. And let's say that black just tries to connect his groups. Now when you come in here, you have a lot less to worry about because your groups are stronger here. And so I see that you're trying to strengthen a similar way, but you're sort of getting rid of his eye space. And it isn't like it is a fine idea to try to kill this. Like, that's just what you said you're going to do at the beginning here. But it also seems kind of difficult to do. But if you think that you're losing, this is a good idea. Trying to cut him off, which is a good idea as well. But now black is most definitely alive on this right side. Black doesn't know any other moves. But black does play this one here. You throw in here, and this actually kills this group. So he did do that, which is really cool. But he didn't follow it up. He went straight to here. And that's probably a good idea to just leave this group as a floating, because if he makes it alive like this, I think this is alive now, then when you then you can try to create some trouble in his area, and it'll be much easier for you to handle. So I think, again, like, you have another good idea here, in that you're trying to reduce him, trying to get as much as you can, but you start to break down a little bit by playing bad shape here. Looks like you're trying to take advantage of his shape, but it just seems a bit too difficult. And this must have been just like, like when you get to an end of a game and you're just upset because you didn't accomplish your goal or something. I've done that before many times. So that's just the end of the game there. I did want to point out, if I did say that this group was dead, so I just want to show you that just this move kills it here. If he blocks, you extend, and it's just one eye. If he takes this, then you push in here. It's better to reduce from the outside first. That's the more proper way to kill a group. Because if you try from this side, he has more Aji with this sort of move. Now, I think it's still dead, but there's more you have to worry about this way. So looking at the game overall, though, let me try to point out the moves again. Like when the game started to get to like the middle game, you started to play very well. In that your opponent was playing somewhat bad moves. You were trying to pressure and move towards his points, his influence, but you just weren't quite able to accomplish it because you've played moves that you didn't like that didn't accomplish a real goal. Like A here, you're connecting up stones that are already alive, that have already accomplished what they've been trying to accomplish in this game. You played like B here, which was trying to get the side or the corner, but you never got the corner, and you never really got the side. And again, with like C here, you strengthened your group when you didn't need to strengthen your group because you were saying that you were going to get the side, and not saying that you were just trying to have a strong group in the area. It's mostly just this sort of thing. That if you change just these three moves, like if these three moves are just in different spots on the board, that would already be much better. But I believe you also had D up here that was trying to strengthen yourself when you didn't have to, or you could have done it in a better way. And you gave away more points to your opponent with the move. So I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope everyone watching enjoyed. And if anyone had any questions about the game or other sorts of moves, or if I didn't clarify something that I should have clarified, just let me know in the comment section below the video. And again, thank you to Eric from Patreon for sending me this game to be reviewed. And I think that's about it. So I hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video.